Good morning. Good morning. This is Mr. Johnson wanting to talk to you today a little bit more about the Neolithic Revolution, River Valley civilizations, concepts like cultural diffusion, specialization, the domestication of animals. Just want to review some real basic things so that we can keep them in our minds that a river valley civilization, number one, is built along a river. The fact that early humans lived as hunter gatherers, nomadic existences in small groups, going from place to place, looking for more sources of food, nuts and berries to pick for largely for women, and a lot of hunting to be done, always more food under the gun for survival. So when humans learned how to plant seed, learned how to control their food supply, this this excess of food, this surplus of food, allowed civilizations to grow in one place. No longer did people need to live a nomadic existence from place to place, but could stay in one spot. And this benefited humans in many ways. One way was called specialization. Specialization is a word that describes the learning of new skills, new technologies that help humans grow. And when people no longer had to make their major preoccupation, what was always on their mind was survival. Once people knew they had enough to eat tomorrow and into the future, they could begin learning new things. This helped civilizations grow, helped the development of new technologies over time. The domestication of animals, we should remember that animals were used to make farming easier, to make the work that humans had to do easier. So the domestication of animals refers to help that they gave human beings in river valley civilizations. Want to remember that irrigation was a big part of that. Irrigation systems, tunnels that were dug that conveyed water from the river to the crops was essential for keeping them watered and keeping them growing. I want to, real quick, review cultural diffusion. You saw a video about fast food restaurants in Kuwait, how people love the taste of the fast food, but unfortunately, Kuwait is having a terrible obesity problem like we have in the US. People are becoming obese and developing sugar diabetes and other related medical problems. It's a horror show. Sometimes cultural diffusion is a great thing. Sometimes the consequences are not positive at all. Cultural diffusion. Please recognize it when you see it. If you see a group of women who are wearing hoodies in one culture, and somehow I guess that idea gets noticed by another culture, and after a while you see hoodies start springing up in this other area. Well, the idea of hoodies culturally diffused, right? It went across the border. It's a practice that's shared from one civilization to another. You might see it in an alphabet. You might see letters that look a certain way in a civilization, and then next thing you know, over time, another civilization has an alphabet that might not be the exact same thing, but you'll notice a certain similarity in the style of the letters or in the way the letters are organized. This could be an example of cultural diffusion. You might see religious buildings like a mosque that has a dome, a golden dome at the top, and then after over time, you see the construction of similar looking buildings in another culture entirely, meaning that this religious concept and this religious architecture diffuse from one culture to another. Cultural diffusion. Remember, the we talked about the paradigm of the political, economic, and social, helping us to understand civilizations. That the political had to do with power, economic had to do with trade, the financial life of a people, And the social had to do with the cultural life, relationship of people to their culture. Remember that we talked about the 4 river valley civilizations from west to east. They were Egypt, Mesopotamia, India, and China. Eat more ice cream was the acronym we used. This has been a brief review. I want to keep it brief for you. I want to let you know that I'll set up a Google Meet link and be available to my students all day. It's a pleasure for me to answer any questions that you might have. Thank you very much.